Hello and welcome to your Grow Groups this week. My name is Jessica Sachs. I'm the director of Grow Groups, and it is so good to be joining you as we continue the series, Curious Jesus. We're looking at how we can ask more questions and better questions and mimic Jesus and being more curious about the world around us. This week, I'm joined by one of our staff members, Rachel Zolnowski.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm so good.
So good.
Yes. I happen to be ready for a Chiefs game. If it's not a Chiefs game, I apologize, but I'm ready today.
It is always Chiefs season to me.
Right.
Like the energy is just always valid.
Once it starts, we're in it. So here we are.
We live here. I love it. Way to step into that. Good deal. So this week we are talking about the question is, do you love me? And clearly you love the Chiefs. I just want to acknowledge that.
I'm in.
That's so good. So you were in youth ministry for a little while.
Yes.
And I've been in youth ministry for a little while.
Yes.
We've all been stuck on weird team corporate retreats, and I know you all have been too. So we all have icebreaker questions that we love and we hate.
Yes.
So I got to know, what is your favorite question to ask?
Okay. This is actually, I'm cheating on this question. I apologize. Because I don't like these at all ever. And so I didn't do a whole lot of them in youth ministry. But Janessa does one, and it kills me every time. And so she asks, is it a sandwich? And so then she'll ask random question foods, like, is it a sandwich? Is it not a sandwich? Whatever. And so then I have seen another one that you have to classify foods as either a soup or a sandwich, no matter what.
Yes.
And so I have decided that if I ever was in that position again, that is what I would go with. But I wasn't ever good with them in youth ministry. I didn't like them. And so I don't like the in the box questions. I just like to talk to people, shockingly. So, but anyway, soup, sandwich, done.
Soup, sandwich, done. I love it. I hate two truths and a lie.
Yes.
That I loathe that question entirely because I'm so bad at it. But I would do would you rather questions. That way it's still in a box. You only have two options, but it can lead to some strange dialogue.
That is true. And that works for my, kindergartner all the way up to senior adult groups. Like anybody can answer those questions and not feel super awkward.
Absolutely. Yeah. So as your group answers these, if you have any favorites or not favorites, feel free to send them my way because I get to write them so often. So please help me out. I love it. So we're in this story today just to lay the foundation. The last time Jesus and Peter speak before the crucifixion, Jesus tells Peter, you're going to deny me 3 times. And Peter's like, no, I will not. And of course, Peter denies Jesus the 3 times. And they end their relationship on this super bummer note. Mm-hmm. And then the disciples are out on this boat fishing. Jesus sees them on the beach. Peter realizes it's Jesus and swims to him. They share breakfast. We got to do all the things on a full stomach sometimes. And Jesus asks Peter 3 times, do you love me? And every time Peter's like, yes, yes, Lord, I do love you, so enthusiastically. So that said, we're talking about this question of do you love me? Have you ever asked a question to which you already knew the answer?
Oh my gosh. As a parent, I feel like I do this all the time where it's like you give the kids an opportunity to tell you something like, what happened here? And then they tell you something, you're like, try again. Because I already know the answer. I already know what's happening. But I'm giving giving the children the opportunity. So I think constantly in my parenting life, I do that. Where I ask a question that I clearly already know the answer to.
Questions can be tools.
Right.
I feel like that's a lot of the series we're talking about is Jesus wasn't dumb.
Right. Well, and much in the same way, most of the time, Jesus knew the answers to the questions he was asking. And much of the time, as a parent, I know the answers to the questions I'm asking. Now, sometimes I'm truly like, what in the world just happened? But a lot of the times it's more of a let's start the dialogue kind of thing instead of a true information gathering kind of question.
Yeah, absolutely. I've even found So like, as a single person who lives alone, I'll almost ask these questions of myself sometimes. Like even if I ask this out loud and make myself put it into words out loud, how does that change? Oh my gosh, there's got to be research about that, right? How just answering a question verbally changes our like brain chemistry to own it.
Well, and they talk about that all the time with writing things down, but then also being able to verbalize. It's much different putting it into those words, because we can have a lot of stuff going on in our heads, but then having that, either writing or verbalizing is so much more impactful in some situations.
Absolutely. And especially things like this. Like, your kids love you.
Right.
Your husband loves you.
Right.
But there's something about hearing it.
Well, yeah, and being so intentional to take time out to say those kinds of things. Yeah.
Absolutely. I love that so much. So we're going to dive into a deep one.
I know. Oh my gosh. Here we go. I'm ready.
But I like it. Okay. So it's a two-parter. How many times do you think Jesus would ask you, do you love me? And is there a different question you think Jesus would ask instead?
Do you love me? I think that probably is a question that Jesus has asked me more in the past. I think now in my working in a church life and, being here 7 days a week and those kinds of things, I think it's pretty clear by my actions. But I think earlier in my life when I was maybe pulling away and maybe trying to be more rebellious, it was more of a, hey, we still here? Are we still doing this? And so I'm sure that there were a lot of times that I needed to answer that in my younger days. And I'm actually going to steal we were having this conversation earlier, and the question I think that is probably more now is, do you trust me? Do you trust my plan for your life? Do you trust that I'm working for your good? And that one kind of smacks me in the face frequently. And I'm like, but I like my plan, but I want to do my plan. But do you trust Jesus's plan? Okay, fine. I guess I could answer that. But I think it's trust. I think that's where I am now. Love, we're good. Trust.
Last week we talked about, coming up in a few weeks, we're talking about fears. And that I kind of feared that first question of how many times would Jesus ask me? Because I hope it's like 3. Right? I fear it's so much more.
Yeah.
And so I should take that and be more intentional of how am I, in my words and actions, saying that I love Jesus? But yeah, I had said, I think trust would be the question that Jesus would ask me, because I know that God is good.
Right.
And I know that Jesus has my future in his hands. And I know that the Spirit is working with me all the time. But even I graduated in May, which is like really exciting, but in the grand scheme, it's not like I'm having a huge life transition, but I'm like, what do people do with their lives?
Right.
When they're not in school?
Where do we go with this? Yeah.
What do you do? Let me know. What does free time look like? And at that, I have a weird trust issue on that, on how to live into that. So like you said, there's a lot of things I'm like, I've got a great plan.
Right.
I'm sure Jesus's is better, but like I know mine.
Well, and to go along with that, not just do you trust me, but like, can you trust me? Can you let go and trust that the plan is good? And I might not see it, and I might not know what it is, and I might not see the end, but can I trust that that's the path I'm supposed to be on?
Yeah.
Yikes.
We got real deep.
I know, man.
All right, so this one is just hopefully a light one. We'll see. Maybe it's a deep one. Our last question. So imagine, what do you think is the first question Jesus will ask you when you meet?
I don't know. This one is I'm just like, there are so many things. I really want it to just be something like, did you have fun? Like, did you enjoy yourself? Did you, like, that's all. I am just a fun-loving kind of person most of the time, and I just want to be enjoying it. And so maybe it's, did you have fun? Did you invite others into the fun? I don't know. Something about fun. Like, did you not just get through the journey, but enjoy the journey?
Ooh, that could be a good plaque. Are you enjoying the journey?
Yeah.
Just like a daily or weekly check-in for yourself anyways. Are you enjoying the journey?
See? Don't have to wait till the end. Am I enjoying it right now?
Yeah, I love that. Be prepared to answer that question.
Goodness.
I think it could be I don't know why this is the question, as we're talking about questions, right? And the intent behind them. But I kind of like what do you think? Right? Like,
Love that. Yeah.
because, we've talked about the kingdom of God theologians have talked about it for how long? And, what do you think?
It's good, right? Good, right?
Or what did you think? How was life?
Yeah.
How was life?
How was life? Sure. That's a good one.
It's not a plaque.
Yeah. Don't put that one up in your office. Don't do that.
I will not do that.
Deal.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for being here, Rachel. We got through some deep questions. We got to laugh along the way. I feel like we learned a lot about each other.
We did.
Along the way too.
Yes.
So we're praying for the conversations in your group this week. Ask questions. Ask the big, deep questions and don't be afraid to give answers. And keep doing so in your life. Stay curious like Jesus. So see you next week.